The Chinese censorship for this anime goes kind of hard looking at this opening sequence. But jokes aside, I have no idea what the animators truly were thinking when they storyboarded this and pieced this all together, because without context and you just look at this opening sequence, like the way the series starts off, it's just like, is that what I think it is? But no, it's saliva. It's just literally creatures eating food, etc. But it literally looks like straight out of something like Chinese censorship. You know, those memes and different things you've seen around the internet that's been happening for a while now. It literally looks like that. But anyways, with that being said, I sat down and just finished watching ReMonster, which is a new anime series that just came out like a few days ago. I saw some talking about this, but overall the conversation around the series has been pretty, at least from what I have seen, lukewarm. Now, I could be entirely wrong. It could be because I just haven't seen it. I've lived under a rock. To be fair, it's been a few busy days for these past few days. I mean, it was my birthday a few days ago, so, maybe I missed it. But regardless, ReMonster is a series that I have known about for years, and the reason how I knew about it is because it is a series that is an isekai, and anyone that knows me knows I love Isekai Trash. Another Man's Trash is my favorite isekai. Literally, I love it. I absolutely love Isekai and reincarnated stories, transported stories, etc. Because obviously, sometimes there could be a lot of generic tropes and different themes that you see over and over again, and it can kind of get repetitive or stale, but there is oftentimes, if you dive in and you really wade through the trash, you will find something that legitimately just blows your freaking mind. I mean, I have found some of my favorite stories of all time doing that, and I always try to give these series a chance, because there is a chance that they might be my next favorite anime of all time. Now, obviously, I'm still looking for something that might surpass Mushoku Tensei or ReZero in my personal head, in my top 5, but, I think one day I might. Because, I mean, one series in particular I think that a lot of people would have skipped over if they just looked at out of context memes or images would be Cautious Hero, that came out years ago. I'm still waiting for a season 2, by the way. But, anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that ReMonster, at first glance, like, if you were to take a look here at just, like, the way it looks, like, if you were to look at this on Crunchyroll and all that, and you look at the, the picture and stuff, it looks generic. It does. Like, it looks very generic. It looks like something that is just your typical isekai slop for the season. That's what it is. Like, that's what it looks like, okay? Let's not try to kid. Let's not try to deny it. It does. Like, without any context. And I think that one of the big reasons why people might, not even watch this series is because there's another series that came out or is coming out this season that is, I honestly think, the direct competitor to ReMonster. Now, ReMonster has a huge legacy, as I briefly hinted at the beginning of this video. I've known about it for years because it is, from what I've been told, one of the origin points of, like, isekai stories, reincarnated stories, etc. It came out a long time ago, and in the very premise, like the first episode, you could feel the older tropes and tones within the show that, is in a lot of different shows like this. But you can tell this is very more, like, old-fashioned. It's not trying to really break the mold, so to speak, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is bad. Once again, as I've always said in any of my videos when I do first impressions of shows, it can be the most generic crap you've ever seen, but it does come down to the author/writer if it's good. Like, that's what it really does come down to, the execution. And execution-wise of the first episode, it's not bad. I just think that if I have to be completely blunt here, and we're all humans, we're all going to notice the similarities to this and Reincarnated as a Slime. And what do I mean by that, okay? Now, this is me coming in as an anime only to ReMonster, okay? I do want to clarify that. I'm not an official source reader or anything like that, but, as an anime only, looking at the two series, looking at, like, ReMonster, and then looking at Reincarnated as a Slime, the origin points of these two stories, there is some slight differences, obviously, but they're basically the same. Rimuru, as a character at the start, he consumed a lot as a slime, and he, basically got a lot stronger from eating a lot of different creatures, etc., gaining abilities, so to speak. You know, he also started off as a very weak monster, something that is basically a meme within RPGs or worlds, fantasy worlds. And in the same token, we have our main character in this world that basically starts off as a goblin. And anyone that plays any form of RPGs or knows any form of, like, fantasy stories knows goblins are also basically bottom tier, pretty much paired with slimes at the beginning of a story. So when you factor all of that in, it has already a similar setup. But also the main male character, what he consumes, he gains ability. So for instance, if he was to gain it, like eat a snake, he would gain the ability of like venom resistance or be able to use venom, all that type of stuff. So you can kind of see the cross comparison here, that they're very similar. Now, I want to be completely blunt here. I know people are going to go on record and say I should not compare That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime with ReMonster. I know it's unfair, because obviously Reincarnated as a Slime has 3 seasons. It has built a community up for years now. It is very popular. Say whatever you want, dislike it, whatever. Rimuru and Slime is just legitimately a popular story. Now, I'm not saying that ReMonster doesn't come from a background of a lot of popularity as well, but I do think thanks to its overall similar, premise, there is going to be a lot of competition and a lot of attention that is going to be dragged away from this show and given to Slime. That is not including Mushoku Tensei, that is also airing this anime season, and an other anime that could potentially come out of nowhere. So, the fact of the matter is that we have 2 big heavy hitter series that are airing this season, and I think most people that are watching a lot of anime are going to completely skip over ReMonster and not even give this show a chance, because the premise of it is basically the exact same as Reincarnated as a Slime. Once again, slight differences, but at least the first episode it's the same. It is. It really is. Just different coat of paint, so to speak. So, yeah. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean the episode's bad. I do want to make sure I say that. I mean, I love Slime. Slime is fantastic. It's like one of my favorite isekai of all time. I love it. It's great. I read the light novel of it. It is awesome. But it does not change the fact that if you're wanting something brand new, you're probably not going to find it here with ReMonster. Now, from what I've been told from original source readers, what a few have told me, is that it does change. It is definitely very distinct and different from Slime. As for to explain the differences, what's been told to me, is that Rimuru, anyone that's watched the show, he's an aloof character. He doesn't have as much aspiration to, like, he wants to protect his people, he wants to build a kingdom, but he's a little bit aloof, so to speak. While our main character within this story, according to what I've been told, is a little bit more driven by conviction and getting things done, and there's just straight up a lot of mature content. Like, straight up, he gets with all the girls or something. That's what I've been told. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I have been told. So if that is indeed the case, yeah, there is definitely already some differences between the stories just with that alone. So this would be a more mature and serious story, and I mean, I do see that. I mean, we did have moments here, despite the comedy and joy and stuff that this episode had. There was a moment that showed human women in the cave, and, anyone that's watched Goblin Slayer, you know what goblins are probably doing. So that's what's implied with this episode. So there is darker aspects to this story that is underneath everything. So there is ways that the series could dive into some darker tones that even Reincarnated as a Slime doesn't do. So yeah, there is some differences that does separate them. But the reason why I'm doing just such a hard comparison is because these shows are coming out at the exact same time. And I feel like a lot of people are going to not even watch ReMonster because of that. However, let's say you're someone that couldn't get into Reincarnated as a Slime for whatever reason. Maybe you didn't like Rimuru, or maybe the art style, whatever. I think you should give ReMonster a chance, because, once again, it's similar enough, but it has different characters, so you might enjoy it more. Who knows? Or maybe you'll enjoy it less. But I do think that if you're a fan of Slime, give this a shot. It would probably be something that would make you interested. Give the first episode a shot. You don't like it, you don't like it. It is what it is. But I think that overall, I enjoyed what I got. I don't know if I will stick with it. I'm going to be completely blunt. I might. I have no idea. But it is decent. I wouldn't say it's horrible. It's not horrible. I don't think that it destroyed my brain cells or anything like that. So yeah, there is some questionable things, like I said, with the opening sequence, but besides that, Yeah, decent. We'll see how this holds up, honestly. I mean, judging by the amount of likes that this, episode has, like, I mean, it has 10,000 likes in the past 5 days. It's clear that there is some enjoyment around the show, so that's good. I'm glad to see that. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. Just wanted to briefly shout out ReMonster and to discuss, kind of, what the series is about and if it is worth your time or not. But it really comes down to your personal perspective. But if you enjoyed the video, do leave me a like. It does help me out a lot. And with that, Chibi out.